Sheng Xiaoyu ripped open the letter, his hands trembling as his eyes flew across the page. The moment he read the first lines, it felt like his mind exploded. His brain, once so sharp and steady, went blank, like 2 bombs had been dropped in the tiny space he used to keep his thoughts safe. The words in that letter weren't just sentences, they were knives cutting deep into his chest. To my Mr. Sheng. The letter wasn't long, but every word carried a weight so heavy it threatened to crush him. Hua Yong, the one person who had stood by him through fire and storm, had written his final goodbye. He told Xiaoyu that he deserved to be happy, that he should not be trapped in regret, and that some choices were too painful for him to make. So, Hua Yong had made the choice himself. He stepped away. He compared himself to a soiled omega, saying Xiaoyu should never carry guilt for choosing him over family. Mr. Sheng, you are so smart, how can you not solve such a simple multiple-choice question? The words burned, the mocking softness, the hidden pain, it tore Xiaoyu apart. And then, the line that made his chest collapse. I love you, but I think we shall never meet again, you deserve better. The letter ended with, wishing you happiness, but Xiaoyu knew this wasn't happiness. This was goodbye, forever. The butler stood quietly nearby, watching the proud young master break apart. For as long as he had known him, Sheng Xiaoyu was untouchable. Strong, cold, dignified, he was the heir of the Sheng family, the chosen alpha who would one day carry the entire weight of their name and power. Crying, showing weakness, that was forbidden. Since childhood, Xiaoyu had lived under the heavy hand of his father, Sheng Fang. His father was ruthless, demanding perfection at every step. Xiaoyu wasn't allowed to make mistakes, wasn't allowed to hesitate, wasn't even allowed to shed tears. Pain had to be buried. Emotions had to be crushed. He was raised not as a son but as the weapon and shield of the Sheng family legacy. But now, that weapon was breaking. For the first time in his life, tears poured down Xiaoyu's face. His proud figure shook, his shoulders hunched, and he gasped for breath as though he was drowning. He lowered his head, buried his face in his hands, and sobbed like a child who had just lost the only light in his world. Because that's exactly what Hua Yong was, his light. Without Hua Yong, the world wasn't warm anymore. Without Hua Yong, every smile was fake, every breath felt heavy. Without Hua Yong, happiness was just a cruel word with no meaning. The butler saw the young master's pride crumble, saw the man who was trained to be unbreakable collapse under the weight of love lost. And though Xiaoyu's father had always said that tears were weakness, in that moment, the tears were truth. Sheng Xiaoyu had always been strong, but strength could not save him from heartbreak. Power could not bring Hua Yong back, and no matter how much he tried to convince himself, the reality was clear. Hua Yong had chosen to disappear, leaving Xiaoyu alone in the ruins of what could have been. The letter ended with hope, but for Xiaoyu, it was nothing but despair, because for him, happiness would only ever mean one thing, and without Hua Yong, happiness would never exist.